Hello everyone, welcome to another edition of Jay's Big Adventure. Jay's the fuzzy one. And today we're going to talk about how to negotiate when you buy a car. Okay, you've been looking for inventory, you've found a car that's unique, and now it's time to actually try to buy that car at a number where I can make money. Contrary to popular belief, you make the money when you buy the car. That's what sets you up for profit. If you pay too much for the car, it doesn't matter how nice the car is, you're not going to be able to get enough over what you paid to make it profitable. So you've got to buy the car right. And this is where a lot of the techniques that we've talked about earlier come back into play. So you've been searching online, you're looking at Auto Trader or your local paper or what have you, and you found a car or a motorcycle that makes sense. Okay, this is a unique piece of inventory, low miles, whatever, and now all of a sudden, I actually want to try to buy this car. So I'll call the owner and I'll talk to him. Don't ever negotiate on a price over the phone. It just makes you look like an idiot. You haven't seen the car. You have no idea what kind of shape it's in. It could be two cars tack welded together. In the last episodes I did, it could be green in the back and black in the front. And I run into that. We're underneath, the whole back of the car has been tack welded on. And now all of a sudden, I don't want the car. It doesn't matter what the price is. I don't want it at any cost. The car may be so utterly trashed on the inside that it's not worth saving because you can't spend enough money to bring it up right. There may be something terribly wrong with the way it drives, whatever. You don't know whether you want to even purchase the car until after you've looked at it and test driven it. So I'll call the owner and just in a conversational tone, I want to find out what he knows about the car. How long has he owned it? Who's been doing the maintenance? Who's been driving it? And why is the car for sale? Okay, these things make a difference. Okay, has he had it for 10 years and it was his wife's car and his wife is no longer driving and they're just getting rid of the car? Or are they buying something to replace it with? Have they already bought the car? Are they going to buy the car once they get this money? Who knows? But all these information pieces fall into line down the road, so get as much information as you can. One of the things that I like to do is I want to plant that what I call the seed of doubt, okay? So, sounds like you've had the car for 10 years. When was the last time you changed the antifreeze? Oh, I didn't know you had to do that. When was the last time you changed the brake fluid? I don't know, my mechanic handles that. When was the last time you've changed the differential fluid? I don't know. What has broken? I don't know. Okay, the more information you get out of him, the more it gives you a history on, A, has the car been maintained well? By whom and how often? Okay, if his idea of maintenance is getting the oil changed once a year and he's never changed the antifreeze, and he's never changed the transmission fluid, and he's never changed the brake fluid, okay, first of all, I now want to go out and make sure that all that stuff works properly. And two, I know I've got a fairly big hill to get over before I can resell the car, because I'm going to do all that stuff. Last thing I want to do is sell a car to somebody and have it die in a week or two because I didn't do something that I knew was wrong with the car. That's just not the way I am. I want to sell good inventory because if you do, they will tell the world, and you can tell them, hey, you know what? I do this for fun, but I can find you a car. If you've got a friend who wants something, let me know. So you want to leave on good terms. The other thing that I do is I want the car as nice as I can get it because I can ask more money for the car. So when I write the ad, I'll list all that stuff that I did. Change the brakes, put new tires on it, change the antifreeze, change the brake fluid, all this stuff that scares the normal motorist because it's expensive has now been done. And that's also how I differentiate myself from the other cars that are in my market. Typically, I deal in stuff that's rare enough where there aren't many cars for sale like mine, and it'll be in its own price strata, and that's fine. But if you run across something that's a good deal and you want to resell it, but there are other cars in your market, you've got to be able to find a way to differentiate your car so that your phone rings as opposed to the phone of one of the other 10 or 15 cars that are for sale in your market. So how do you do that? Great pictures, a really well-written ad with a bunch of detail. all the equipment gets listed. Anything that I've done to the car gets listed. I detail it, I make it stand up. And when people are scrolling through 50 cars for sale, I want my picture to pop. That's the hook. And I want them to open the ad and scroll through it. That's how you do that. Killer picture to open with. Bunch of clear pictures of the interior of the car. Every button, every feature, everything listed. Make, model, year, trim level, all that stuff. And then I bought the car from the original owner. Since I bought the car, I've done these things to it. And that's how you set yourself up for profit on the other end. Now I can ask for more money because I've got a nicer car. So that's how that works. So when it comes down to negotiation, all that information that we picked up earlier on now comes back into play. If you're looking to buy a used car from a used car dealer to resell to make money, you can do it. But he knows to the penny what he's paid for the car. He's got a spreadsheet that says, bought the car at the auction, did all this stuff to it, here's where I am in the car. That's the bottom line. Okay, now I have to get above that number to be able to sell it and make money. Okay, he knows to the dime what he has in the car because he's only had it a couple of months. Somebody who's had the car for 10 years doesn't have a hard number. If they know what they paid for it, they've driven it for 10 years, they now want to resell the car. One of the questions I ask is, where did you get your number? Okay, why did you advertise it for this? Let him explain. He may say, I don't know, I just figured it would be worth X amount of dollars, or this is what I owe on the loan. Okay, he may have only had it for a couple of years. He may have a payoff on the car that you've got to pay off before the title comes to you. Got to know that information. Find out if he has the title, if he has the loan documents, who the bank is that has the loan. Have you pulled a payoff on the car recently? Okay. No. So we don't even know whether he can sell the car. He may have the car listed for $8,000. He may owe 11 grand on it. Okay, if he bought a secondary finance car and they tacked a whole bunch of stuff on, just because he's been paying on it for 3 years doesn't mean that he's actually made any significant dent in the principal. Now I want to know. That's why you ask all those questions. Okay, so now you've found the right car, and now it comes down to buying it for the right money. Before you go out to talk to the guy and see the car, do your homework. Look at all the sources online. Find out when it was sold, how long he's had it, what the book value is on the car. Pull all three of them, do the research, and then go see what other cars are for sale in your market that are a true comp when you go to sell the car. Okay, if there are no comparison cars to deal with and you got the only one, you can ask whatever you want, okay? But if there's 6 black Civics for sale in your market and all in the same price range, you need to have a way to make your car stand out and make your phone ring as opposed to one of the other 5. So get all that stuff, and then what I will do is I will say, based on my information, a good value for the car is X. And then shut up. Okay? And just let him process what you said and let him respond. He may be asking $9,000 for the car. You may offer him 6 or 7 or whatever the number it's going to be. It's going to be a bunch less than what he's asking, most likely. Let him process why you think that number is a valid number, and then see what he says. Based on that, go from there, okay? This is why you want to know why he's selling the car. Is he waiting to sell this car to be able to go buy his new one? Okay. Is this a car that he is just selling out of the fleet and he no longer needs and now it's just cash? And I'll ask him, okay, if I give you cash for the car, what are you going to do with that money? Do you have something else that you want to purchase? Are you going to get a hot tub? Are you going to go on vacation? If he's planning on using this purchase for something other than car related, I want to know what that is, because now I can come back and use that in the negotiation phase. I know it's less than what you wanted, but look at it this way. You can start that project tomorrow. You can go to Lowe's and buy the lumber for your deck. You can go order the hot tub. You can go to Expedia to find out where you want to go. You said you were going to go on vacation. Where did you want to go with the money? And get him thinking about selling the car right now. Okay, and that's why I always want to be a nice guy. I want to become the guy's friend, because now when it comes to the negotiation, I'm on his side. I want him to have the money to go do what he wants to do. So at that point then, you agree on a price. Now make sure the title work is 100% correct before you hand him cash. You can give him a down payment if you want to, but make sure that he is who he says he is. And what I'll do is I'll say, look, just for my records and for the license plate for the DMV, let me get a copy of your license on the title. Put the title down, look at the guy's name. It's Wally Smith on his license, it's Walter P. Smith on the title. He has to sign it Walter P. Smith. Okay, Walter Smith and Walter P. Smith are not the same. If you want more information on how to do title work, I've got a video entirely on that. But this is when you do this. Make sure that the title is in his name. Make sure that the wife's name is not on there. It may be Wally Smith and Annie Smith. And if it is the word "and" between two names, they both have to sign. If it's Walter or Annie, either one can do it, that's not a problem. But find out who's on the title. Find out if the title has to be notarized. Okay, he may have moved here from out of state and that state requires a notary. If that's the case, you cannot have him sign the title now. You've got to go into the bank where you're going to get the money, and typically they'll have a notary, and the title has to be signed in front of a notary public. Then he will make sure, and I'll tell him, make sure that you sign it. See where it says Walter P. Smith? Right here, point to the line, please sign Walter P. Smith. Once the title is signed and you know that there's no notary or the notary has signed off, look to make sure there's no lien on the title. And it will say lien by this bank and trust or this credit union or what have you. Obviously, if there's a lien on the car or the motorcycle, he has to pay that money before the bank will sign off. So find out who that is, right? Maybe go to that bank. Make sure that you get a check for the loan amount if it's going to a separate loan institution. I'll send that amount of money to that institution. I'm not going to trust the owner to send in the money. Let's say it's an $8,000 car. He has a $5,000 loan on it. I'm not going to assume if I hand him $8,000 that he's going to pay the car off. He may not. He may decide he wants to build a bigger deck. All right. So I'll get the loan information from the bank, call him up. You have the account number or have the guy there so that he can give his social, get an exact payoff. This is how much it's going to take to pay the car off. And you're going to want to find out what is the loan amount, what is the interest per day, which is called the per diem, and how many days out they want the payoff good for. Typically it's 10 days. So now you're going to get a cashier's check for X amount of dollars plus X amount of per diem, 10 days times whatever the per diem is. Add that into the loan amount. That now gets overnighted to the loan company with the bill of sale, and now the title will come to you. Or they may insist that they send the title back to the owner, but now you've got record that you paid the car off and you can get the title at a later date. But all these steps have to be done before this deal is finished. At that point, you hand the guy the rest of the money, okay? And with a bill of sale, you can take possession of the car. Now, one of the things you need to figure out in your state is, can you legally drive the car home? Okay, if you just bought the car from Walter P. Smith and it's his plate, he doesn't own the car anymore. Okay, if you're driving from his house to your house and you get stopped, chances are, unless you're doing something really stupid, a cop's going to let you do it. But legally, they can tow the car, unless your state allows that. I grew up in Indiana, and I could take any plate off of any car with any registration. And as long as I had a license plate and a registration for that plate and a bill of sale, I could put any plate on any car for 30 days. Okay, you have to have full coverage insurance. You have to have that information with you as well. But that's not the case here in Utah. So find out what your state laws are to stay legal. I've had states where I've had to go to the license branch with the bill of sale to get a temporary license plate. It's a paper tag. And that can be good from anywhere between 3 days and 90 days. That allows me to legally drive the car, get the emissions tested, get the safety inspection done if that's needed, and then get the car to the license branch to get the new plates and registration and title put in my name. You've got to find all that stuff out before you hand the guy money so you know what the next step is. And then at that point, then you're legal to drive the car, and it'll be legally registered and insured in case you get stopped or in case you get into an accident. So that's it for negotiating as a buyer. The next segment is on negotiating as a seller. Please like, please subscribe, please share, and watch the next segment. It'll be out in just a couple of days. And thanks for watching this one. Jay appreciates it.